also known as genetically modified news. Way over here on my right, we have Hunter Keeley. And closer to me on my right, we have GMO researcher Maggie Berry.
Haha, yes. Thank you for having us. To all you viewers, I'm going to quickly explain the basics of genetically modified foods. To start off, GMO foods were first introduced to the market in the mid-1980s. A GMO is an organism whose genome has been altered by the techniques of genetic engineering so that its DNA contains one or more genes not normally found there, or the DNA contains genes that were taken out.
Haha, yes. Right. So, for example, there are now cabbages that produce scorpion poisoning.
But to continue on with what I was saying, GMOs are now one of the most controversial topics in modern society. There are some people that are strongly in favor of GMOs because they create mass production fields, which can supply food to most of the periphery countries. For example, rice has been modified so that there are more vitamins and minerals present, creating a nutritious meal for people who can only afford rice, or for people who live in areas where rice is the only food that can be easily grown. This type of rice is called golden rice.
Haha, yes. But there are also many faults with GMOs. First, they are not natural nor organic, and many studies are now starting to show the potential harmful outcomes of consuming genetically modified foods. Take, for example, a study that was just performed in a Chinese province. That rice that Hunter was talking about earlier is actually full of small pieces of rice ribonucleic acid, miRNA, that has been found in the blood and organs of human consumers.
Wait. Before you proceed, will you please clarify what miRNA is?
Haha, yes, of course. miRNA usually functions by turning down or shutting down certain genes. The Chinese research that I was talking about earlier provides an example of ingested plant miRNA, surviving digestion and influencing human cell function in this way by shutting off coding genes. The initial study had nothing to do with GMOs, but as the research progressed, alarming outcomes were discovered.
I just heard a lot of very advanced language. Will you please use more advanced words and elaborate on that idea?
Of course. Researchers in China use RNA knockdown to make cotton plants that silence the gene that allows cotton bollworms to process the toxin jossipol, which occurs naturally in cotton. Bollworms that eat the genetically engineered cotton can't make their toxin processing proteins, and they die. And researchers at Monsanto and Devgen, a Belgian company, make corn plants that silence the gene essential for energy production in corn rootworms. Ingestion wipes out the worms within 12 days. What if this happens to human consumers?
That's pretty scary. But what is the whole deal with Monsanto's secrecy of their genetically modified products?
Well, the thing is, GMO companies have become so big so fast that because corporations are people, they've been able to tell and lobby to the politicians and have basically written their own rules and laws concerning GMO foods themselves. So what we can see is that there's no real perceivable detriment from labeling foods other than less profit for the GMO companies and more government transparency. However, labeling has been shut down because of extensive lobbying by GMO companies. Additionally, Monsanto has stated, quote, "there is no need for or value in testing the safety of GMO foods in humans," and, end quote. This viewpoint, while good for business, is built on the understanding of genetics circa 1960. There's a central dogma of genetics from 1960, which postulates a one-way chain of command between DNA and cells DNA governs. So what we can see is basically that the GMO countries have written their own rules and are using age science to write the rules and back up the rules themselves. So while Monsanto not only controls the laws, they also control most of the research. And for this, we're really in the black on what GMO foods mean and what they are to the human health.
Sorry, that was really interesting, guys. Now let's switch focus to a local news story pertaining lovely Caitlin Shetterly and her scary encounter with GMOs. Hi Caitlin, so great to have you on GMN. Why don't you give us a little background on your story?
Hi Brandon, thanks so much for having me. What an honor to be on your super prestigious network. I have some footage to show you of my reenactment from my illness of GMOs because, you know, it was so serious and dramatic that a documentary was made of it.
All right, Caitlin, let's turn our attention to your body. I mean the video. Although it was very nice turning our attention to you.
Hola, that's Spanish for hello. You may notice that I've been acting quite strangely. For the past year, I've been plagued by headaches, awful, fevers, nausea, and fatigue. I have not been able to sleep very well or do my duty as a mother. So I finally went to see a doctor with a degree. After many failed visits to different doctors, and after trying a variety of treatments, I was finally introduced to this one doctor, an allergist who lives in a small village, and he was able to diagnose my illness.
Here, let me take a swab of your nose.
Wow, what is that?
See those pink cells? Those are eosinophils.
So how do I get rid of them?
Well, they're actually good. They help fight off parasites and infections. It's just when the immune system sends too many out, then they become a problem. I would recommend that you stop eating all corn and soybeans. The GMOs have cross-contaminated all corn and soybeans. So even if you eat organic corn, you will still have an overflow of eosinophils.
After 1 year of not ingesting corn, I finally felt myself again. My rash disappeared, I had more energy, and I no longer get headaches, awful, or fevers. If only I had been more careful with what I ate.
Oh, what a lovely video. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, and what a lovely time.
Thank you, Brennan.
Well, it looks like we're running out of time. Let's give a round of applause for Maggie and Hunter, and an extra special round of applause and my phone number for our special guest, Caitlin. Until next time, this is Brennan from GMN signing out.